I want to tell you a quick story. I got a wonderful opportunity to play professional basketball. I played for the Dallas Mavericks, Utah Jazz, and Detroit Pistons. What I didn't realize, guys, on my way to the NBA, on my journey to the NBA, I was doing research. My journey to the NBA was for you. My journey to the NBA was for your children. My journey to the NBA was for your grandchildren who might not even been born yet. I'm gonna teach you everything I learned on my journey to becoming elite. Let's do some quick context. There's only 450 NBA ball players every single year from around the world, which means I learned how to compete in a global marketplace. I'm gonna lay down a formula for you that if you execute the formula, you will become elite, no doubt about it. Everybody with me? Let me tell you something. I don't know what kind of student you were in middle school. I don't care what kind of student you were in high school. Right now, you are grown. Everybody with me? Now it's time to get an A. You hear what I'm saying? Because I was a fool in middle school. Anybody else? I acted a fool in high school. Anybody else? Man, I was a big fool in college. But now I'm grown. I got a wife and 3 kids. There's no excuse to get anything less than an A. The first thing I learned on my way to the NBA was powerful. It is impossible for you to reach your potential without a coach. In the NBA, every great player is connected to a great coach. It is impossible for you to reach your potential without a coach. So can I ask you a question? Who's your coach? Let me make something else clear. It is so important for you to be coachable. And I'm not talking about being a B student. I'm not talking about being a C- student and barely making it. I'm talking about being coachable, being teachable, and you're like a teacher's pet. You're getting straight A's. It's gonna require you to be coachable. Now here's the truth. In middle school, all them bad grades we got, it's because you weren't coachable. We had a chemistry coach, we had an English coach, we had a science coach, we had math coaches, and our job in school was to allow those teachers to coach us. If you agree with me, say yes. And we got our scores back, and sometimes we got all that red on our paper. Simply meant that we weren't coachable. If you want to be elite, if you want to thrive, it is important for you to be coachable. But it's also important for you to become a coach. Because you guys are hiring a lot of people, and if you don't have the heart of a coach, you're letting people come in and out of your doors, and you didn't have the impact you should have had. The one thing I love about sports, coaches and players add value to each other. So the next time that young brother come in there, pants sagging, smelling like a little ooh-wee, y'all know what I'm talking about. Come on, I'm from the south side of Chicago. Don't look at me like that. Every now and then, you might have walked in that way. I know you don't do it now because you done matured. I know you don't do it now because now I see some people chuckling. Don't give yourself away, don't give yourself away. Hey, so your attitude, but hey man, give him to me. Give her to me. He got a GED, give me too, give him to me. He's homeless. I can relate. Give him to single mother. I got 4 kids by 5 different men. Give her to me. Now, I don't want to go into your business, but come on now, don't forget what you used to be like. I don't want to get into your Kool-Aid, but don't forget how you used to be. I know you're a supervisor now, an assistant manager and general manager, but don't forget what you used to be like. The truth is, if you want to thrive in this system, I'm telling you what I know. Make sure you are coachable. And the most important thing you can do is to become a coach yourself. The second thing I learned on the way to the NBA, you gotta have a system. When coaches work in practice, all they're doing is teaching you their system. This is our system on offense. This is our system on defense. And the player's job is to learn the system. They might have talked about you in high school, but you're on our squad now. They might have criticized you in high school, but let me tell you something. You're in the new school now. Your teacher might have said, you ain't gonna never be nothing. How do I know? I flunked out my first high school. My mom and dad were teachers. So report card day was hard for me. My brother and sister would skip all the way home. Great job, Jamel. Great job, Lewis. Oh, Lord. Okay, Walter. Let's take a look. I remember one semester, I was tripping. And I handed my grades across the table and started crying myself. And my mama said, baby, are they that bad? And she picked up my grades. And my mama started to cry. And she said, baby, if the teachers give out A's, you know you can get one. And it was the first time that I felt bad that my mama was upset. The first time I realized that I was a problem. The first time I realized that I was letting my mama and my daddy down, and it hurt me to see my mama cry. And then my mom and dad had a parent-teacher conference at the kitchen table. You see, when your parents are teachers, they can have a parent-teacher conference in the house. My daddy was a high school principal in the hood. My daddy was a high school principal on the low end on the west side of Chicago, and he said to my mama, give him to me, baby. Give him to me. No, Willie, you got thugs at your high school. Give him to me. No, Willie, you got vice lords at your high school. Give him to me. Great leaders realized that he didn't need no more out of me. I needed more out of him. You're the head coach. And you're trying to figure out how to get more out of your people, but here's the truth. Your people need more out of you. Your attitude should be, give him to me, he got potential. Give him to me, she got potential. My father was an expert with young men and young girls on the west side of Chicago who struggled with life. And now his baby boy was struggling with life, and his attitude was give him to me. Every day on the way to school was a coaching session. The first thing my high school principal did was build my confidence. You are just as smart as your brother and sister, but your value system is screwed up. You are just as smart as your brother and sister, but your value system is screwed up. You are just as smart as your brother and sister, but your value system is screwed up. This family produces student athletes. See, if you want to be a great coach, write this down. The first thing you have to do is to become excellent at building somebody else's confidence. We live in a world that we're so selfish on Facebook and Instagram, and look at me, oh, look at me, I'm fabulous, look at me, I'm a boss, just look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me, all eyes on me. If you want to be great, it should not be all eyes on you. Learn how to build someone else's confidence. Learn how to encourage somebody else. You've been waiting for someone to validate you. Why don't you start sowing the seed of validation and start validating other people? If you sow enough seed of validation, trust me, God will make sure that you get validated. Here's the 3 phases of a great coach. They build confidence, and then they tell you the truth. They build confidence, and then they tell you the truth. They build rapport, and then they tell you the truth. Here's the biggest mistake you're going to make. You don't take time to build confidence. You tell them the truth, and it sounds like criticism. Let's see students tired of being criticized. That single mom is tired of being criticized. That high school dropout is tired of being criticized. Build that confidence first. Build that rapport first. And then tell them the truth. And the 3rd phase is set a new expectation. In 2 years, my high school principal convinced me I am just as smart as my brother and sister. They call me a thought leader now. But I flunked out my first high school. Don't you ever give up on that C student. Don't you ever give up on anybody.